Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our show. I'm your producer, Jack Tunney, and we're coming to you live on tape from the Sandwich Studio in Oceanside, California. It is Thursday, January 7th, 2021. On behalf of the entire PB&J crew, I'd like to wish a Happy New Year to all of our viewers and a happy second season. We have a great show for you today, starting as always with the first bite, then moving on to our sandwich, which will cover yesterday's incredible events in the Capitol, before finally presenting the first milk of 2021. With all that being said, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more. Now, without further ado, the hosts of the PB&J podcast.
Hey. Welcome back to the PB&J podcast. You know me. My name is Brandon Blackman.
And you know me. My name is Peter Whitehead, I think.
Yeah. You know. And we are very excited to be back behind this beautiful foldable table in our little garage to provide you some content to keep you sane through these troubling times.
These incredibly troubling times. But before we jump into the first bite, we have a few announcements for you guys. First, we'd like to welcome back our friend Jack Tarman to the show.
Mm-hmm.
He is now
strong.
in the producer position behind the camera with Jack Tunney. But we hope to use his voice as well as his technical skill. Right, Jack Tarman? Say what's up.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be back. Love to be here.
It's good to have you here, Jack Tarman.
Oh, thanks.
Also, we'd like to remind our viewers that we're doing that comment thing, where you comment down below, and then we talk about the comments that you put down there, and that's what we're trying to do. So please comment. Okay, I'm tired of asking.
And I just want to say that we are just so grateful and excited to be back, and we love the support. We love our fans. We're starting small, but we do it for you. So. We're happy to provide the 10 of you with content until we get to 10 million. All
That's
right.
So we're going to jump into the first bite here.
Yeah.
Our first story in the first bite is the continuing COVID crisis. So we just wanted to update just real quick. Our thinking on this is that we don't have to show you the maps anymore. We don't have to show you the numbers anymore.
We're all aware.
We know what's happening. We know how bad it is. Keep your masks on. Stay socially distanced. The vaccine is coming. Normalcy is returning, but we got to stay strong for the time being and stay focused.
We were supposed to keep this story kind of, short and sweet, but have you seen anything about this UK transmission, like the UK, the variant? That's kind of super scary.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. They say that it's less deadly than the original strain of coronavirus that infected most of the world. Yeah. But it's more infective, so it's easier to catch this particular strain of coronavirus. So it is something to look out for.
It's just people forgot that these things can change and mutate with the times, and the original herd immunity strategy that was just we'll get sick and we'll get immune to it and we'll all be good. It's really, really bad when you see it start mutating and what if the vaccines even work with it? A lot of people have these kinds of questions, and it's valid too. So, keep that mask on. It's time to buckle down again. We had this podcast on hold kind of because of COVID, so we could focus on our families and not worry about doing two things. So, we're just very happy to be back. And
Yeah, but definitely stay focused. Keep the mask on. Our next story is about a kind of miniature stimulus that passed over our break. This is a $900 billion stimulus bill. The main parts of it include a $600 stimulus check to all individuals who were, originally able to get that check. $300 in added unemployment benefits. That's an extension of that original $300 boost. It's got a 1-month extension, and it's also a 1-month extension on eviction moratoriums. And
1 month.
Yeah. And payroll help for small businesses. So my feeling on the stimulus is good. They got something done. It's not perfect.
Yeah, at least they got the unemployment. They got the eviction moratorium. They got the
necessary things to keep the economy from completely falling apart.
I do think that the state funding and local funding is way more important than the Democrats made it seem, and it was way more important than the Republicans were making it seem, because that's going to be your schools, that's going to be your police, that's
absolutely,
that's the fundamental things that will get defunded once we are actually feeling the recession that we are beginning right now, right? Because a lot of the costs aren't actually being felt right now because it's just happening in the moment. So I think the stimulus was good because we needed it. People needed unemployment. People are still losing their jobs. Unemployment is still rising. But I mean, with the lack of the $2,000 checks, with the lack of, I mean, the $2,000 checks were going to just like dependents as well. So
Yeah, this $600 one is not. It's to the same people who got it in the CARES Act.
So what I'm trying to say is, while I do think the stimulus is important, it was needed to get done. I mean, there's also the government funding in there too, right?
Right.
So we don't have a shutdown. So it needed to happen. But hopefully we can do something again. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, well, I think my main commentary on this is that this feels like a layover stimulus. You know, it's until the Democrats come to power on the 20th. Basically, this is going to get us through to that point, and then there will be hopefully a third stimulus, a better stimulus, a Democratic stimulus, and the reasoning for this, of course, is that the Democrats have won back the Senate. That's right. That's right.
Raphael Warnock, the radical liberal man, he did it. He did
Warnock
it.
and Ossoff have won their elections, which is great against their two opponents, which were Loeffler and Perdue.
Two
respectively.
Republican devils.
Yes. The margin of victory in both of these races was about 1%.
Am I allowed to say that?
The what?
Republican devils.
I don't know. I mean, you could say whatever you want.
Okay. We're still kind of unsigned a little bit.
Yeah.
We don't have advertisers yet.
Yeah. No, we're. Yeah, we're not hurting anybody.
But the races were super close.
Super close.
Do I show the ladies and gentlemen at home the closeness?
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up. Just see how close it actually was. So that's the John Ossoff Perdue race there. That's a 49.5 to a 50.5. That is a 1% differential. And then with the Warnock race, that is a 50.9 to a 49.1. So about 1%. But that's 2%. But it's about 1% for both the races.
The Ossoff race is within 20,000 or 40,000 points, and the Raphael Warnock race is within 100,000 points.
Yeah,
right. Like
it's super close. It's really close for a Senate election. I mean, it was really close during the presidential election, obviously, and Biden carried it. But now Georgia is a blue state.
See,
through and through, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's going to be up in the air from now on. It's
Yeah.
going to be up for debate from now on, and which is beautiful. Like somehow Atlanta, Columbus, Athens, these cities are able to actually now get their voices heard in like Republican state. Because you'll see a lot of red, and you'll see these
A whole lot of red.
a whole lot. You'll see a whole lot of red, a whole lot of red, and you'll see these blue cities that have a ton of people, but they aren't being heard because they just aren't,
No,
matching out.
One of the things I wanted to mention in this story is that Atlanta saved democracy
Yes, twice.
twice.
Atlanta is the #1 city for black upward mobility right now.
Yeah, it's insane the way that they did that. But yeah, no, I just, it's very exciting. We now have 50 senators in the Senate, which means that we have a majority, seeing as the vice president of the United States is a Democrat.
Yeah.
That makes Mitch McConnell minority leader, Mitch McConnell. After all this time, it's been 10 years since the election, the midterm election in 2010, in which they, got back the Senate and the House.
So they've had
under
the Senate
Obama
for the last 10
administration.
years?
Yes.
It's been a shitty 10 years.
It has been a real shitty 10
It's
years.
been a shitty 10 years.
But now they don't have it anymore. Now it's a full Democratic Congress with the Democrat in the White House.
Well,
Congratulations to your mandate, Mr. Biden.
Yeah, it is super big news because a lot the entire Joe Biden presidency could have been stopped by one man.
Yep.
Again. But I was going to ask you, do you think that the Senate races had more to do with the changing demographics or with how bad these two candidates were and their, clearly terrible records?
I think with all things, it is a little bit of both. I think there's a changing demographic in Georgia that largely Stacey Abrams and her political action committee is responsible for.
And exposed.
Yes. Obviously, they were both remarkably bad candidates, so that helped. But remarkably bad candidates. But I think it's a little bit of both. Certainly, I also think that Trump has something to do with the defeat of the Republicans in Georgia. I think the way that he handled the election and the way that he handled the results of his own election deterred Republican voters from participating in the process.
And then the way he handled coronavirus, the way he's handled the entire presidency. I think, the best way to summarize his actions in office would be he got in his own way more than anybody else. Because, he had an actual base. He had he was speaking to a section of the population that had actual grievances. And if he was an actual person with a brain, he could have done something good. But obviously he's not a person with a brain. He doesn't actually care about his base. He doesn't care about politics. So he's failed himself. He's failed his people. He's failed the party. And we're going to see even more of that as we get into the main part of our story.
Definitely. I think the last thing that I'd like to say on this is that this will obviously make things a lot simpler for Biden. Some of the progressive worries when Biden was, first nominated for president and then also when he was elected was, he's going to appease the conservatives. He's going to, appease the far rights in Congress in order to get things done. This makes it so that he does not have to.
He doesn't have to anymore.
The people that he has to appease now are moderate Democrats, and they are much easier enemy for progressives than Republicans who are very far away even from factual basis and argumentation.
Yeah.
So
there's definitely a lot to say about that topic, and we want to do that next week.
Yes,
because there was a lot of stuff about should progressives force a Medicare for all vote. Should they, try to challenge her Nancy Pelosi's speakership position? Mm-hmm. And there's definitely a lot to say about that. And there's going to be more to say about that as we get more information about the cabinet picks and stuff. So it's a little sneak preview for next week. But, yeah.
Oh, God. We've arrived at this part of the show.
I want to say that I didn't expect this. People just be sleeping. The thing about life is that I just be sleeping. I be chilling.
Stay woke.
I be drinking my morning orange juice. My mom is going to bust in my room. She's like, turn on the news.
Turn on the news.
Turn on the news. In the Trump era, you never want to hear that. You really don't. So
Because he's on the news every day, but when they
on
tell
the
you
TV.
you got to look, then there's something wrong.
Exactly. Why do I have to look? Right? That's
it's
funny.
So bad.
Good point. You know what? I turn on the TV and I see. Wait, is this okay? Should I keep on?
Before we do, let me just say what should have happened that day.
Yeah.
So essentially, January 6th is the day that is laid out in the Constitution that has the House of Representatives and the Senate meet and certify the vote, the tally of the electoral votes. This has been done on January 6th without fail through wars, through pandemics, through civil wars since 1788, our first presidential election. It's obviously part of the time-honored process in our peaceful transition to power, and it's held in very high esteem in this country. At least I thought. Are you on your phone right now?
I'm trying to find the Trump tweet about.
Oh, they disabled his account. You won't find it.
True. But he said, just wait till January 6th. It'll be a very big day. Come to D.C. It'll be a big day.
Yeah.
So he was already inciting.
No, they were preparing for this.
Exactly.
And there's information that the Proud Boys knew that there were certain things were going to happen today and that they were preparing for things. And but yeah.
Also, our president's Twitter is locked and he's banned from Twitter.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit more later.
Dude.
But yeah, so January 6th seems like a normal day. They're going to tally the electoral votes. I was paying attention slightly because, I do this show and I wanted to see how things were going to go. I knew there were going to be objections in the Senate and things like this. So I was paying attention, but I was doing other things. All of a sudden, I look down at my phone and I see a news alert that says Trump supporters have stormed the Capitol building. That's what it said. It was a New York Times notification. And
Which is even crazier than seeing the video, because you see the video and you're like, oh, look at these freaking hogs. Look at these freaking Trump goons.
These hoodlums.
Like, they're climbing up the side of the building. Like, that's the first thing I see is them climbing up the side of the buildings. I see them on the scaffolding, storming the stairs and stuff. But the headline, which we're on right now, the headline itself is already nuts.
It's so scary. It's so scary to contemplate. I mean, like, the first thing I imagined was obviously much worse than the actual thing that happened. But still,
There's still thousands of people out there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do a quick rundown of the events of the day, and then me and Brandon are gonna have some commentary and
Because
do a
I
little
think
bit of
this first part
analysis.
is really important because, we're going to probably talk about later, people were trying to make it like a conspiracy about, it's Antifa behind the scenes, and they're the ones who were at the rally. No, this actually started at a Trump rally. Trump was having a rally in Washington, D.C.
The Save America rally.
The Save America rally.
Yes.
People
that is
came
what it was
strapped. They came with the strap
called. They came with the straps.
to save something.
Yeah. So I mean, they were having this rally, and really it was a show of defiance by the Donald in the face of his electoral defeat. He uttered phrases like, "We're going to walk down." Hold on, should I do my Trump voice? You think? I think this.
I don't know if you have a good Trump voice.
I think that would be wrong.
Yeah, I've never heard a Trump voice from you.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen, men and women. We're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength. You have to be strong. There's a video that what are you gonna say?
I'm gonna say at least he didn't say go kill everybody.
Yeah.
But he did say let's go march and show us our strong.
We're strong.
But definitely just show the clip because I think what Rudy Giuliani said is more nuts than anything. Like,
yeah, go ahead and play that clip. It's kind of long. I might cut off the last couple of speakers. I don't really care what Ted Cruz has to say, but definitely these first couple speakers you have Mr. Giuliani and Mr. Trump speaking here. Go ahead and let that play. This is at the Save America rally.
Criminals hide evidence. Not honest people. So over the next 10 days, we get to see the machines that are crooked, the ballots that are fraudulent, and if we're wrong, we will be made fools of.
That's the best line of this entire thing.
But if we're right, a lot of them will go to jail. So
let's have a trial by combat.
Let's have trial by combat.
All of us here today.
Yo.
Pause it.
My favorite part is the immediate cut. I
Trial
want to
by
see.
combat.
How do you follow that up?
You can't follow that up.
I like how he slaps the podium. He's like, that's
Trial by combat.
That's like his conclusion.
What is this,
Like,
Game of Thrones?
He wrote that down.
No, Jack.
He
Tarman,
wrote that down.
That is Jack Tarman's line. I like that. To be clear, I was there when it was said. That is Jack Tarman's
That's fake
line.
news. Jack Tarman doesn't make good jokes. Okay, only I make good jokes.
That's-
I'm watermarking that meme. That's
You
my
can't
meme.
watermark a meme, okay?
How dare you talk about my friend like that?
You can't watermark
Wrong.
my voice.
Wrong.
Play the Trump.
Yeah, play it.
Oh, I'll play some Trump.
Victory stolen by emboldened radical Democrats.
Why does he talk like that?
Why are we emboldened?
Pause it. Stolen by emboldened Democrats and the. Why is he talking like
How
that?
dare they feel emboldened?
Why is he talking like? Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to comment
It
on.
could be taking out a bit of the Hitler.
He's on
book,
something.
but
He's
you
on
don't
an
know.
upper right now.
No, he's on copium.
Yeah.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. Don't
Concede when there's theft involved.
Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. And that's what this is all about.
Exciting.
And to use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal.
Okay, go ahead. Go pause. That's enough out of that guy. That's enough.
I'm eating the mic.
The crowd. Okay, so the crowd. Go ahead, pull us back up.
He said, He said y'all came up with stop the steal.
No, he came up with that.
What?
You know he came up with that.
No, he paid some guy and he came up with it.
Okay, whatever. No.
So there is some additional preface to the rally and the events that occurred after. According to a lot of extremely far-right conspiracy theories on the internet, including one made by an alias Q. You might be familiar with QAnon.
Who's
Never
a
heard
lot
of it.
I thought he was anonymous. Continue.
A lot of conspiracy theorists, many of them present during the rally, believed this to be the day of the storm, which, according to Q in his post, was going to be the day that Trump seized power in the government and executed his political rivals.
Hell yeah.
So this is what they thought they were part of today.
I
or
would have
that
liked
day.
to have seen that. He says
Yeah,
deadpanning.
and after he does that, we burn the Reichstag.
Yeah, the Reichstag.
Oh,
yeah.
exactly.
Hey guys, the NSA just called.
He wouldn't know. He wouldn't know what it was called either way.
Yeah.
But I think comparing this to the Reichstag is a great comparison.
Yeah,
because
for
they're
sure.
already trying to blame it on Antifa.
Yeah.
Like this was y'all
Yeah,
at
this
your
wasn't
rally.
the communists.
the
you
communists.
got. That's exactly what the Nazis said, wasn't it? It was like, oh, it was the communists that burned the
Exactly what
Reichstag.
happened. And I mean that's just what we're trying to show.
funny. That's a great comparison, right?
No, it's nuts. It's nuts because that's just what we're trying to show you today. That no, Trump said this. Trump planned this. Trump encouraged them to do this, and then later we're gonna show you how they're trying to wash their hands
Yeah.
and like they didn't do any of this.
They did it.
And
But yeah, so they have this rally here and they say some things. Giuliani says some things, Trump says some things.
oh, we haven't even gotten to what
And-
actually happened.
Yeah, we're not even there yet. So the crowd, once the rally was over, made their way through the Washington Mall to the Capitol building, to Capitol Hill. Inside the building, the congressman, specifically the Senate, was debating an objection to the certification of Arizona's election results. There was actually a Republican speaking when at 2:15 they crashed the Capitol building and locked everything down and stopped the meeting.
I'm curious, Pete.
Yeah.
Was this on C-SPAN?
There is
Yeah,
a
I would-
video
Was
of
it
that.
was it being filmed?
There's
yeah,
a video.
there's
of
a
it.
video of someone. So I should know this before I'm talking about it on the podcast, but it's fine. It's a Republican senator. He was speaking on the objection and in the debate, and the Secret Service came in, got Mike Pence, pulled him from the building. The guy continued to speak, and then they sent over the Senate pro temp president, put him in the chair, said that the debate was tabled, and then aides started rushing out, like shoo, 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 aides to all of the congressmen. And the aide that walked up to the congressman that was speaking says, while the microphone can hear, protesters have entered the building.
Oh shit.
So, outside, the Trump supporters became violent. They broke through police lines. Police attempted to use force and tear gas to hold the rioters back, but were overwhelmed. 50 officers were hospitalized as a result of the riot. Once the police line had been broken, the rioters flooded over the east and west staircases, waving and hanging flags, climbing walls, tearing down American flags, replacing them with Trump flags. Shortly thereafter, a window was broken and the rioters flooded into the building. That was on the west side of the building. On the east side of the building, they busted through the door.
And of course, there's amazing video angles of all of this stuff because a lot of these people were really just trying to get a lot of Snapchats.
Yeah, they were just trying to get the clout,
And try to get videos and
the
stuff.
insta
so
clout of storming the Capitol.
we're not showing a lot of these videos because a lot of people already seen them, but
Yeah,
there's
they're all
videos
over.
of all this stuff, and it's just nuts.
The members of Congress, the mob quickly took control of the Capitol Rotunda, which is the center part of the Capitol building, and then you have on the wings you have the Senate, and then you have the House of Representatives. They were in the center part, which is that big dome that we've come to know as the center of the Capitol building.
Yeah, and if you've ever been in there, there's countless amounts of priceless art. And
Have you been in there?
Yeah, I've stood in there.
That's a beautiful room.
it is beautiful,
They're good
and I
Marshall
could not
statues.
imagine hundreds of angry people just standing in there knocking shit
Yeah.
over because there's like
There are people
lots
lying
of really
in state
beautiful
there.
statues.
Presidents lying in state
there's
there.
people
That too,
lying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Those there's like the CNN shot that was like pretty much on all day of that room with like the white statues,
Yes.
the beautiful columns, the floor. Like they are disrespecting historical
That's the very
legendary buildings.
Yeah, that's the very like essence of America is in that building.
Yeah,
you know,
and-
You know how many times we blew that up in the movies just to prove America has fallen?
And it's like I'm not trying to be one of those people that's like America great, buildings super important in our history, but it kind of is. Like,
it is. I mean, it's at least worthy of acknowledgement that this is an historical place. And you can compare this, to other situations, people taking down other statues. I think it's an inaccurate comparison. These are people who are upset because their dude lost the election versus people that were upset that they have been systemically oppressed for
ever
400 years in the Americas. There's a major difference between these two things. And they decided to, come in and do this.
And in Portland, like they weren't destroying. I mean, they never entered the courthouse. They never entered any of those buildings. They were doing graffiti. They were doing
Bonfire.
they were doing fires. Like still that's like
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to talk about that yet.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time comparing the two things because I think that as much as we are trying to say, hey, they're not comparable, a lot of people hear it and they think, oh, there's still an argument to
I would say they are comparable, but I would say that one is higher on the comparable scale than the other. Like,
yeah. But yeah, so the members of Congress and the vice president were moved from their respective chambers to a secure location. During the occupation of the rotunda, a woman was shot by Capitol Police. She dies of her wounds. That was tragic. I mean, it is what happens in violent and intense situations like this, but you hate to see it.
from San Diego.
Yeah. Jack Tarman, you said that was Secret Service? I'm sorry. I just said Capitol Police.
Yeah, so Secret Service, according to reports, Pence was being evacuated and the Secret Service were holding a chokehold. And this woman tried to leap across a barricade that they had held up, and as she was doing so, was shot.
Yeah, there's video of that too. We're not going to show it, but you can see that she was agitating and aggravating the situation. I don't like that she was shot. I don't like that she died. But again, these are the things that happen when you attempt to storm the capital of your country.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like we are not going to be the people who are clapping because the police shot somebody. We are still progressives who are against police brutality.
Yeah, we don't like it, but I mean, it happens.
But when you're inside the Capitol building trying to break
Yeah.
the windows,
again,
I'm
not
upset.
comparable to the an individual who fell asleep in a drive-through and was shot for
not
that
comparable to a
Not-
guy
but
who was
The,
allegedly on drugs and
Yeah.
they put a knee on his neck.
and choked him out to death.
this was a woman
Not comparable.
charging through a chokehold
Yeah,
with a Secret Service and/or
aiming guns at them, saying they will fire.
Yes, with a gun shaking in her face.
Yeah.
and she believes she was in the right to charge him.
Yeah.
It's, it's questionable.
Breonna Taylor was asleep in her fucking in her apartment, and
Not
she
even
was
comparable.
killed. It's not comparable, and I'm against it. I'm against the use of deadly force. But come on now.
And I mean, we said we weren't going to spend a lot of time on this but we also do have to kind of sympathize with that kind of person. Like, how does someone who is a 14-year veteran of the Air Force become a QAnon freak? Like, how?
Yeah,
It's
we need to figure
because-
that out for sure.
It's because Trump and the Republicans are encouraging it, and they are half the country.
Yeah,
So, it's
75
like,
million people.
What is it? What is it, like confirmation bias or like?
Yes.
They're saying what I want to think. Like, if I'm already anti-Democrat and you're selling me these conspiracies, like, she is just almost a victim of the mainstream media, but like the Fox News conservative.
Yeah, I was
status
saying this
quo.
to Jack Tarman. Was that last night or 2 nights ago, Jack? When I was saying these individuals are victims of the system as well. Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
Yeah. Remarkably short-winded on that one there. He disagrees with me. But my point is that these individuals here, as Brandon says, are victims of the misinformation that has been given to them. You know, they're victims of the fascist propaganda machine that now exists in America, and it is propped up by the current president.
She is being used as a tool to
and now she's
continue the status quo.
Yeah, and now she's dead as a direct result of that. So it's terrible. There's a lot about this that is terrible, including that the mob was able to gain access to the Senate floor,
Bruh.
and several offices of congressmen, including Nancy Pelosi's. They vandalized the Capitol. They stole papers. They broke glass. They damaged statues. Can you bring up some of these images? There's a great CNN file of images here.
Look at this guy. He's everywhere.
That's my favorite of the individuals.
Yeah,
That
he
were,
is mine too.
Look at this fucking dude.
yeah.
He looks like a lot of people I
Wait,
know.
why is that guy? That guy's bolstering a fire extinguisher.
Yeah, he's got a fire
He
extinguisher.
just took it off the fucking wall and is
Trump hat
walking
is on-
around with
The
that.
Trump hat is on over the hoodie.
Yeah, how do
You
you
got
rush
George
through
Washington crossing the Delaware in the background.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think
That's
about
not,
that.
No, that's not the Delaware, but
No, that is.
no, it's
No.
not.
No,
it's
it-
not.
What
that's
is
not
that?
George. That's
But
not George.
you know what I'm saying?
What
Like,
painting is that though? That looks like.
What's it called? It's in the stairway.
Yeah, it looks like Yorktown or something.
Apparently, Tunney's been in this building. Which
Yeah,
is
but they're
news to me.
Go ahead and keep scrolling through these. So there's some info here, but yeah. So this is the DC National Guard after they pushed them out of the Capitol, and they were trying to push them down the street.
When the National Guard finally
Those were
arrived.
fresh riot shields.
Fresh riot shields.
Yeah, because they just got
were.
there. They just pulled up like 3 minutes before this.
Yeah.
They got there late.
This is one of my favorite shots. That's Capitol Police aiming guns directly into the face of an individual who is looking through broken glass into the chamber of the House of Representatives.
He looks like he's from Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, seriously.
Dude, they were. I bet they were fucking scared. They thought someone was gonna pop a pipe bomb through that hole.
They had guns in there. There was an armed standoff at that door.
No, I know. That's
Yeah.
what I mean. They were scared something was gonna come through that door.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while this is happening, there are still congressmen on the floor of this house.
And one crazy person could turn this into a freaking
Oh, this
crazy
is-
death toll
this-
situation.
This
you
next
know?
picture is the king.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
He's just having fun.
Does
Well,
anybody
so
know
he
what
was-
this means right here?
Inuit
Just Google it.
Coptus?
Comptus.
Is that Comptus?
Yes.
I think I
I knew it copped this.
I knew what that meant a long time.
I knew I could cop this once I got my bag. I knew I could cop this. But like
favored undertakings.
In Latin?
favors are undertaking.
Yeah. It's like the favored undertaking.
But we're
So
also-
it's like basically saying like this country, our experiment with government is the favored undertaking under God.
Yeah.
That's basically what that is.
May the odds be forever in your favor type shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's on the west side there of the Capitol building. There's tear gas. They're pushing these supporters off of the stairway there.
When are we going to talk about the mask wearing percentage?
Okay, well, clearly most of them are not. I mean, they're putting on masks right now because they're getting tear gassed. But most of them were not wearing masks directly prior
This
to
one
this.
pissed me off.
This shot
This
here,
one
Who's
pissed me
that?
the fuck
wait,
off.
Wait, who's that?
Rutherford B. Hayes.
Really?
No, I don't know. I just said that.
No, I think that's
Kinda looks
Hamilton.
like. No.
No.
That kinda looks
That's
like-
that's James K. Polk.
You sure that's Polk?
Yeah, pretty sure.
You sure that's not what's his name? On the old.
No,
The
it
old-
is not James K. Polk.
No,
we will
that's-
discover
that's-
this.
I think
That's-
that's Hamilton.
No,
That is
no,
not
no.
Hamilton.
Come on, what? Is that not who?
Oh, not Hamilton.
Is that not who I think it is?
Is that Jackson?
Yes.
Is that
That's
not
that
who I-
guy.
Is that not Jackson?
Is it Andrew Jackson?
I feel like Jackson was the only one who had hair like that for.
Oh,
real.
I'm thinking of the wrong guy. It's Andrew
Is
Jackson.
that
I think
like
yeah.
Jackson to you, Jack Tarman?
I think it's,
I don't know
yeah.
whether or not that's
No,
Andrew Jackson.
that's not his portrait.
What I do see in
no,
this
look at the chin.
What
Yeah,
I
but
what I
that's
do
not-
see in this photo is a Confederate flag inside the Capitol building, something that Confederate rebels back in the day were not able to do.
Yep.
And here it is.
It's happening.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
damn.
keep scrolling.
I'm also just interested in who this bust might be, too.
Oh, that's...
It's not who I thought it was.
It looks like Teddy Roosevelt, but it's not.
I mean, just keep looking at how
That's
beautiful this
not who I
building
went
is.
to.
Can you go back up again?
This is sad.
I just want to see that floor. Look at that floor
Look at that
pattern.
carpet.
That's tile,
that's
dude.
Tile.
Is that tile?
That's
Yeah, they made
nice
that.
tile.
Am I big dumb?
Am I big
Thinking
poor?
No,
thinking
but-
they're,
but
thinking
go-
they're
go
out
to
here
this-
just dusting the
Go to this
carpets?
next one. This one bummed me out. So these are representatives in our Congress literally ducking and covering on the floor of the House. That's if you scroll down a little bit more, it says their names.
I do believe that's the gallery.
Oh, that's the gallery. But there's the gallery in the House of
got it?
Representatives.
U.S. Rep. Jason Crow, a Democrat from Colorado, comforts U.S. Rep. Susan Wild, a Democrat from Pennsylvania, while taking cover in the House chamber on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So that is Susan Wild on the ground.
Yeah, heartbreaking. How scary it must have been for those individuals.
Yeah,
this fucking guy. That's the
mean-
Speaker of the House's office. He's got his boot up on the desk.
Wasn't it reported he stole some mail?
He
Which is
stole
a-
an envelope.
Yeah.
There was no mail
Oh,
in
there
it.
was nothing in it?
But it said it had the address of the Speaker of the House. It had her name on it.
God.
Oh, that could have been a felony.
But he said he didn't steal it. He left a quarter on the desk.
He bought it.
He bought it.
He traded.
Last time I checked, you couldn't barter without a second party.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, that's the same thing that happened with the Manhattan and the Native Americans. Like, that's really unfair. So I'm pretty triggered about this. But they turned it into a meme. There's a meme of Nancy Pelosi's computer, and people are just putting like random pictures on top of it. Yeah, so I guess that's something that came from this. But we got to remember that these are their open desks. They're like pretty much, offices. Like, they have a lot of stuff there that they just leave. So there's laptops open. There's like classified documents. There's work on the desks and stuff. Like,
I did not realize we had a name for this man.
Big O, dude.
oh no.
Richard Big O Barnett.
Yeah, what a great name. Pro gun rights group from Gravit, Arkansas.
I think it's Bigo. He's Bigo Barnett.
Bigo. No, I think it's definitely Big O.
Bigo.
Yeah, so that's the damage on the floor of the Senate. Not major, but I mean, clearly
some guys gonna have to go clean that, man.
They did clean it, yeah, before the senators returned.
Well, it's like, what did they expect to go find? The aliens? Like, what did they go expect
Oh
to
no, that's the
find?
House chamber.
Did they expect to find Jeffrey
I
Epstein
thought
and
the
kids?
Senate was blue. Is the House blue?
The House is blue,
Well-
and the Senate is blue. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, but we can stop showing these. Let's show a couple more.
Yeah,
and
you can do a
then-
faster
and then-
scroll.
Yeah, and then we'll cut back. I mean, we're basically done with the main run through of this.
Who's my man's with these good looking dreads back here?
I don't know, dude.
I don't know. But it is. Wait, what was I saying? I just said something. Oh, it's like.
Look at them. They're barricading themselves in. Oh my God.
Yeah, because
This guy's chilling for
Congressional
This guy's
staffers put up a
chilling right here.
barricade inside the Capitol after rioters breached the building.
dude, one crazy guy with a pipe bomb,
Oh,
1,000
this is
people
him.
are in there dead.
Look
you
at
know,
this. Look at
It's
this
nuts.
guy. I have a lot to say about this guy. Stop on him for a
yeah,
second.
by his fit.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all,
Yeah.
this outfit is iconic. I don't care what anybody
What's
says.
his name is back? He's a reoccurring character.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
The outfit is iconic. He is a terrible individual. Do not get me wrong.
Oh, this is
Look
like-
at his fucking horns. Look at that man.
This is right down the hallway from that
He's
other
got.
picture.
There's a tattoo of Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, on his stomach in all black. That was extremely painful to get. He's
So-
got.
So this
Oh,
man is
man.
actually well known. We know of him as the man in the Chewbacca bikini. He was also spotted at an Antifa
God.
rally as a counter.
He's known as the QAnon shaman.
Yes, he is a QAnon member.
God.
The QAnon shaman.
That's your neighbor, by the way.
That's your neighbor, by the way.
That guy.
Dude, that outfit's iconic though. Like with the brown pant. Like look at him. He looks like
what's
he
going
looks
on with those
like
pants?
he was brought to this moment to do specifically this. Like he was born on this earth to do specifically this.
I thought those were cargos for a
Okay,
second.
he's got a legitimate. This is like Civil War.
Era flag. No, he
Flag.
probably took that out of one
Yeah,
of the.
because it's got the spikes still.
Yeah. No, he
It's
probably
got the
took that
spear
from
part.
somewhere in the Capitol building.
Get
Yeah,
this
so these-
man in cuffs.
All these dudes are gonna do hard time. By the way, all these dudes. Go ahead and send it back here to us. There's some tear gas.
Those flags are expensive too. Those are not.
This one.
Aren't those
Look
also
at these
reps?
security guards, dude. These guys look terrified. Like they've
I'd be
never
scared.
thought this would ever happen in their lifetime.
I'd be scared. Oh my
Damn, just
God,
ended
dude.
on that right
Yeah,
there.
that's a beautiful image.
Look, I mean, just no masks. That's where I want to come in with this. No masks. Like, not only are they doing all this, not only are they desecrating our American like symbols that even me as a radical left Democrat, I respect the Capitol more than these like idiots, right? You know, like even the apolitical people who don't vote and they're like, I can't deal with this. Even the apolitical Andes, they like care more about this stuff than the Trump people who are actively anti-democracy, actively anti-America, and like it's an active destruction of our like social fabric that's happening.
Guys, I got a hot take.
Hot take.
What if they did the same thing? So say this didn't happen.
Oh.
Except they did the same thing to Amazon. What would we say?
Uh-oh.
Why are you guys doing that? Those guys got to work.
Uh-oh.
You're getting in their way. But
No,
they're
if
like,
they were
no, we're here
storming
to
Amazon, I'd be
well,
like, go for it.
Yeah, but you
I'd
know,
be like-
in the news sphere, it would be like, hey, that's kind of mean. Why would you just break in there like that? What, do you think you're gonna do anything about it?
Freaking Tunny pointing the holes in our hypocrisy. I'd be like, Amazon,
No, I'm really
next
just-
story.
Yeah.
All right,
It wouldn't-
QAnon.
If they were,
you
if-
heard me. Call
if
to arms.
If
Go to
QAnon
Amazon.
and the Proud Boys stormed the Amazon headquarters, it wouldn't even be on this show. we
Yeah,
would
but
not
it-
even talk
Isn't
about
it like a mile down the street?
I don't know, but
Amazon headquarters is in D.C.
Dude, okay, I think this is a milk story, but Jeff Bezos just got passed for the richest man.
Elon Musk.
2 government mandated sponsored companies, Amazon and Tesla. End of story. Next. Back to the story.
Next part. So after an unsettling long time, the Capitol Police, with assistance from the FBI and the D.C. National Guard, were able to secure the Capitol and push the mob out of the building down the street. But they were there for like 2.5 hours.
From like 2 to 6.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to talk about a little bit of the aftermath here.
Because they still had to go back and vote.
Yeah.
As soon as this was over, the Congress people were right back in the floor of wherever they floor. Their floor
they're
positions.
floored. They were floored.
So I was up watching speeches at like 12 a.m.
Yeah, I watched a whole bunch of speeches that night too because I wanted to see what people had to say about it. I don't want to play the Mike Pence speech anymore.
Yeah.
So let's just go straight into Lindsey
Copy.
Graham. So Lindsey Graham, before let me put this preface in here, and there are people in this room that disagree with me about this, but Lindsey Graham is an individual who supported Trump through the darkest times of Trumpism, stood next to him, supported him, spoke for him, passed legislation for him. He was there the whole time. He wanted him to win the election, and when the election ended, he was right next to them with the fraudulent vote bullshit that they were all doing, okay? But now Lindsey Graham, on the night of January 6th, 2021, sparks a very different tune. Go ahead and play it.
Sparks.
I don't know. That wasn't the right way to say that, but you get the point.
Tim and I have a good relationship. I love Tim Scott. 1876, South Carolina,
Dare he say he likes
Louisiana, and Florida sent two slave electors. They had two governments, by the way. And we didn't know what to do. Why did South Carolina, Florida, and Louisiana do it? To hold the country hostage to end Reconstruction. It worked. The commission was 8 to 7. It didn't work. Nobody accepted it. The way it ended is when Hayes did a deal with these three states.
Okay,
you
pause it for a second.
give me.
That was kind of confusing. Okay, but the point that he is trying to make here is that in 1876, during the election crisis, they sent 2 different delegations from each of those states that he mentioned: Louisiana, South Carolina, and Georgia.
That's why he said 2 governors and 2
Yeah.
whatevers.
Yeah, so they sent 2 different delegations with their different electoral votes to vote in that election because each of those states had 2 governments at the time. They did that with the intention, as he will say, of ending Reconstruction.
For their gain.
Yeah, for their gain, for the Southern state gain, so that they can continue to oppress black people in the way that they see fit, and so that they don't have this tyranny the way that they saw it of the Union and the Army still present. Go ahead and play it again. I realize that was a little confusing.
I'll kick the Union Army out. The rest is history. It led to Jim Crow. If you're looking for historical guidance, this is not the one to pick. If you're looking for a way to convince people there was no fraud, having a commission chosen by Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, and John Roberts is not going to get you where you want to go.
I think
Facts.
I think that's nonsense for him to say that.
Pause it.
I think for him to say that is so fake.
If you are trying to convince people who have been convinced by him and Donald Trump and OANN and Fox News that this election was a fraud,
He cleaned it up.
a group of people...
The same people,
Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, they're not going to convince you of anything. He's fucking right.
Yeah, it's stupid.
He's right. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, he is right.
So it's not going to do any good. It's going to delay, and it gives credibility to a dark chapter of our history. That's why I'm not with you. But I will fight to my death for you. You're able to object. You're not doing anything wrong. Other people have objected. I just think it's a uniquely bad idea.
It is funny when he says that.
Trump and I, we've had a hell of a journey. I hate it being this way. Oh my God, I hate it.
I don't need to hear anything else. What
No,
else
no,
is there?
you need to hear it. You need to hear it.
We had a great journey, putting them kids in the cages, bombing Iran, and what else? Taxing
Sorry,
cuts.
hold on, there's a little continuing to put kids in cages.
Yeah,
That's the specificity.
we're still on that journey, baby. Him and Trump
Keep going.
holding hands.
Consequential president. But today,
By the way,
first thing you'll see.
We're not having
All I
that.
can say is count me
Shit
out.
on Barack real
Enough is
quick.
enough.
pull it back. Pull it back.
Today. First thing you'll see. All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough. I've tried to be helpful. But when this Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled 4-3 that they didn't violate the Constitution of Wisconsin, I agree with the 3, but I accept the 4. If Al Gore can accept 5-4, he's not president. I can accept Wisconsin 4-3.
He still said he agrees with the 3.
Pennsylvania. It went to the Second Circuit. So much for all the judges being in Trump's pocket. They said, no, you're wrong. I accept the Pennsylvania Second Circuit that Trump's lawsuit wasn't right. Georgia, they said the Secretary of State took the law in his own hands. He changed the election laws unlawfully. A federal judge said no. I accept the federal judge, even though I don't agree with it. Fraud. They say there's 60,000 people in Georgia under 18 voted. How many people believe that? I asked, give me 10. And had one.
Damn right.
They said 8,000 felons in prison in Arizona voted. Give me 10. Hadn't got one.
I didn't see this.
There's problems in every election. I don't buy this. Enough.
He's spitting fire.
We got to end it. Vice President Pence. What they're asking you to do, you won't do because you can't.
Uh-huh.
You talk about interesting times. I associate myself with Rand Paul. How many times will you hear that? The mob has done something nobody else could do. To get me and Rand to agree. Rand is right. If you're a conservative, this is the most offensive concept in the world that a single person could disenfranchise 155 million people. The President shall, in the President, Senate, and the House of Representatives, open all certificates, and the vote shall then be counted. The person having the greatest number of votes for President shall be President. Where in there does it say, Mike can say, I don't like results. I want to send them back to the states. I believe there was fraud. To the conservatives who believe in the Constitution, now's your chance to stand up and be counted.
He's like, now's
Originalism. Count me in. It means what it says. So Mike, Mr. Vice President, just hang in there. They said we can count on Mike. All of us can count on the Vice President. You're going to do the right thing. You're going to do the constitutional thing. You got a son who flies F-35s. You got a son-in-law who flies F-18s. They're out there flying so that we get it right here.
Our military protects our democracy.
Dying. To my good friend from Illinois. To make sure we have a chance to argue among ourselves. And when it's over, it is over. The final thing, Joe Biden traveled the world with Joe. I hope he lost. I prayed he would lose. He won.
He's spitting.
He's
I hope he lost. Me too.
The United States.
Slow, lo-fi
I
beat.
cannot convince people, certain groups, by my words, but I will tell you by my actions, that maybe I, among any above all others in this body, need to say this. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are lawfully elected and will become the president and the vice president of the United States on January 20th.
Could I just peek in here with a?
Put us back on.
Yeah, I want to peek in here with a they call I think they call it a conspiracy theory.
This guy's knocking over stuff.
This is my conspiracy. At least with Lindsey Graham, it shows. You notice how like skinny Lindsey Graham got over the last 4
I was
years?
going to say he looks different.
I could have sworn that they've been on a drug bender for 4 years, and only now after they've like come off the copium, they're like, oh my god, I need to eat food. They're like been eating one meal a day.
No,
just
I
doing
have to-
ketamine.
I have to say, though, Jack Tunney, and I have to say, Brandon Blackman, that speech right there was a speech of a statesman. That was an individual taking responsibility for his actions. He doesn't agree with you. He doesn't fucking agree with you. And you know what? We'll never agree with him. But he got up on one of the most violent days in the U.S. Capitol's history and stood up to people who elected him. What more can you ask from an individual?
Well,
in Congress?
his speech was correct. His speech, he said the right things. He's
a scumbag.
He was humble.
He's a scumbag. But
And I think you're right about everything you're saying. But I think he chose, and the Republicans are choosing, the easiest day to do this.
that's
right?
I agree with that too. And they could have done it sooner, and they should have done it sooner.
They needed
but they're
to.
doing it now, and we cannot sit here on our high horses.
Take yes for an answer.
No, we can't just say, we're going to continue to condemn this individual even after he has decided finally to do the right thing. You must meet the incorrect thing with concentrated effort and ensure that it is corrected. When somebody is correct, you give them encouragement.
Yeah.
You say to that person, you know what, you've done a lot of wrong, but that day you did right, and that's what I think.
So Peter and I had a passionate discussion about this only a couple evenings ago, and I have changed my stance on it a little bit, but I do believe what is important to remember is that these men and women are politicians, and they are very good at saying things. What I want to see from Lindsey Graham and what I want to see from the GOP moving forwards is a dedication to our institution above conspiracy theory, above things that are wrong, just inherently factually incorrect. I want to see them take the high ground and hold up to the words that both Lindsey Graham has said and a couple other senators and representatives from the Republican Party have said, which is enough is enough. We need to go back down to brass tacks, and we need to restore the GOP as a credible institution, because right now they are a joke.
But it's just it's a lie. It is a lie to act like they haven't been the same ones encouraging this and fanning the flames, and then
Well, Lindsey Graham, in this particular instance, isn't responsible for.
But is he a senator that this is the first time he said Biden won, right?
Yes.
That's nuts. That's stupid. And I cannot give him credit for. It's like the Trump thing. It's like when Trump defunds the hospitals or something, right? He defunds like disability programs, and then he puts funding back. Oh, yay. He stopped being an asshole. Congrats.
No, I'm not saying yay. I'm saying
it's a starting place.
I'm saying Lindsey Graham tonight, good job. That's
Yeah,
it.
okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I definitely still agree with that. I just am worried that it's going to be very easy for them to clean up their record, clean up their character.
I won't forget, though. And you won't forget.
No.
Jack Tarman won't forget. Jack Tunney won't forget. So I don't think it'll be that simple. But I think they do have a responsibility right now to be different than what they were. And Lindsey Graham did. There are other senators in that very body who didn't. And I'm going to talk about them in a second.
True. Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz, Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, right? These individuals, they stuck to their guns even after this. Lindsey Graham said enough is enough, and fuck yeah, Lindsey Graham, enough is enough. It should have been enough. It should have been enough 5 years ago, but here he is, and he's saying it. That's all I really have to say about it. I don't love the man. I don't respect him now. It's just I have to give credit where credit is due.
He said the right thing.
Yes.
I think you should go to resignations next, just because I do want to say that it's the same thing. Like, you're resigning now, 2 weeks before the end of the administration because it was so bad and so evil, and I don't want to be a part of it anymore. In the last 2 weeks, it's like if you leave, you're a senior in high school and you try to leave the club on the last week of school. It's like, we're leaving anyway, dude. You know?
Yeah.
But it's important that Republicans are saying it. It still is important that Republicans are saying it. But I'm worried that... Go. Let me commentary after.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about the Trump freefall now.
Go for
it. Because this shit is hilarious. And this is what we have been waiting for.
Yes.
So after the events of the day and after several Trump tweets, which I'm not even going to grace the PB&J podcast with, they're ridiculous. Twitter banned him for 12 hours. 12 hours after he deletes the offending tweets. So I don't know how long that actually is.
So he has to delete them.
He has
first,
to delete them,
and
then it's 12 hours after that.
Bro.
On Facebook,
teenager rules.
On Facebook, he says Facebook says that they will ban Trump at least until the inauguration on January 20th because he's far too dangerous. It's far too unsure to allow him to continue to say what he is saying. So those are two social media websites now taking aim at Trump, silencing him. Honestly, a little too late, just as much as, this commentary Brandon's having about the Republicans.
See, we work together.
You could say that about the social media groups as well. This is far too late here, guys. Far too late here, Jack. Not you, Jax, but the Twitter Jack.
Mr. Dorsey.
Yeah. The next thing is resignations from inside the White House. So there were several resignations, including one just tonight. And I'm gonna read their names. Elaine Chao, the transportation secretary, was the first. That's huge. That's a cabinet member. Mick Mulvaney, special envoy to Northern Ireland. We all love Mick Mulvaney.
Wasn't Mick Mulvaney something awesome? What was his original job?
He
was chief of staff, or
I think he was chief.
or treasury.
In Bush's administration.
Treasury secretary. He was something important for Trump, though.
Oh,
he got demoted.
Yeah, Mick Mulvaney, Matthew Pottinger, who's the deputy national security advisor, John Costello, the senior cybersecurity official.
Oh, John Costello is the guy who said this is the most secure and safe election.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tyler Goodspeed, acting chairman of the White House Council of Economic Affairs. Stephanie Grisham, the First Lady's chief of staff. Sarah Matthews, one of the deputy press secretaries. And just recently, hours ago, Betsy DeVos, secretary of education. So they're fleeing the sinking boat. They're
rats. Fleeing a sunk boat.
Yeah.
The boat is sunk. They are crawling to safety.
Again, too little, too late, but I'm glad to see it.
Yeah, it's important that people who have stood by Trump for 4 years, for people who have stood with the people standing with Trump, right? For them to see that they are no longer encouraging Trump.
Yeah.
Too little, too late, but important.
Yes.
Very, very important.
There are also calls for the 25th Amendment. So there is a growing effort amongst legislators, including Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger of Illinois and Republican Representative Steve Stivers of Ohio, to have Donald J. Trump removed via the 25th Amendment. Now, for those of you who don't know, the 25th in Section 4, I believe, yes, says whenever the vice president and a majority of either the principal officers of the executive departments or of such other body as Congress may by law provide, transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office, the vice president shall immediately assume powers and duties of the office as acting president. So their intention is to remove Trump with the 25th Amendment, and that you have to get, I think, a majority consent from his cabinet, and you also have to have the permission of the Vice President of the United States, who at this time is Mike Pence, in order to do this. Pence is said to be opposed to the effort, according to the New York Times, and there's no news on what Trump's cabinet is feeling about this right now.
I feel like Soviet Russia could have definitely benefited from something like that.
From like the 25th?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Although they just killed them if they got enough popular support.
I mean, just like Stalin. You don't want someone who isn't leaving. You don't want someone who is slowly losing their mind. You don't want someone who is slowly trying to consolidate their power more and more and more, gaining more power. I mean, there is a direct need for that kind of amendment or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, people... A president could lose his mind midterm, as we've seen.
It's happening right now, yeah.
So, once again, too little, too late. But
I mean, at this point, though, he's such a dangerous president that I don't think it's unreasonable for them to do that right now, even if it's just for 12 days or whatever it is.
it's just
like,
it's not going to happen.
It probably won't happen, but I don't think it's unreasonable for them to do it, given how dangerous he has presented himself to be, given how much disregard he has for the institutions of the United States. I don't think it's unreasonable for them to consider it. I don't think it's unreasonable for them to do it. If they did it, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they're also talking about impeachment, right?
Yeah. So if Trump's cabinet and the vice president choose not to invoke the 25th, Nancy Pelosi says that she will move to impeach the president for a second time. Ilhan Omar, who is a pretty famous representative right now, is said to be drafting articles of impeachment.
Dope.
So Trump is more so than ever on the outs. 12 days left in his presidency.
Yesterday was probably one of his worst days of his presidency.
Yeah. He has been impeached. There was a special prosecutor into him and his campaign's affairs. Many of the people that were on his campaign were indicted for federal offenses. He shut down the government twice.
Almost a third time.
Almost a third time. And he has done everything in his power to keep the peaceful transition from occurring.
And that's just domestic recent stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
That's not to mention
the
the
last few months.
Iran World War III scare. That's not to mention the Russian and other autocratic leaders, him kissing up to those leaders,
Not
Kim
to
Jong-un.
mention him kissing up to Turkey and leaving the Kurds to die in Syria.
Yep. There's all sorts of things that you can say about this guy. I mean, I agree with Chuck Schumer. That's also something you won't hear me say very often. I agree with Chuck Schumer. Donald J. Trump is undoubtedly the worst president that we've ever had.
It's just
there are presidents that committed worse atrocities, but there has never been a president with such disregard for the United States, for such a disregard for the people in this country, for such disregard for our institutions, our laws, our regulations, our rules.
Donald Trump is consistently trash. Like every day, like every week.
So, yeah.
New hot trash.
That night, Congress reconvenes, and they certify the Electoral College vote. Even after the upsetting day, 6 Republican senators stuck to their guns and voted against the results of the election in Arizona. These are their names.
These are and this is an all-time worst Republicans list right here.
Please remember these names, and do not let them get reelected. Senators Josh Hawley of Missouri, Ted Cruz of Texas, Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, Sidney Hyde Smith of Mississippi, Roger Marshall of Kansas, and John Kennedy of Louisiana.
I think we're gonna need to do like a deep dive on Josh Hawley one day.
We will.
Because, oh God,
What an individual that guy is.
$2,000 checks and fascism.
Yeah.
You get both, baby.
So after the objection was voted on, they counted the electoral votes and certified that Joseph R. Biden and Kamala Devi Harris were elected to the offices of President and Vice President of the United States, fulfilling the constitutional obligation of the Congress.
That's the end of that saga. That's the end of that saga.
In 13 days, 12 days,
20th.
Biden will be
Good shit.
sworn into office, and we will see a very different country than the one that we currently live in.
The one that we saw yesterday.
So what happens now, gentlemen?
Well,
We step into a zone, an unknown zone where things happen that are unexplainable. And even if you tried to tell a friend, they wouldn't believe you. This is the Twilight
the
Zone.
Biden zone.
The Biden-Kamala zone.
I don't know. Probably wake up in the morning, eat some Pop-Tarts.
Okay,
That's
Uzi.
it?
Untoasted.
Untoasted, frozen Pop-Tart.
I've got an answer.
puts their Pop-Tarts in the freezer?
Individuals,
I
it's a
think
real
we're gonna
thing.
see a lot of Republicans do what Lindsey Graham did.
Remember their names.
That's okay. I will. This is my full prediction. My full prediction of what the Biden presidency will look like. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of Democratic infighting, but I feel like we'll get stuff done, and we will make significant progress on making Medicare for all or the public option or any,
Hell yeah, dude.
just kind of like clarifying what our policy will actually be for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I think that Republicans will just try to clean up their act and try to make it seem like they aren't awful.
They got to get reelected
And
somehow.
yeah, I think they're gonna stumble over themselves trying to appeal to both the Trumpies and normal people,
The new moderate demographic.
and they're gonna look really, really bad trying to not look bad. And I think that's gonna be most Republicans, and it even might happen to some Democrats that can't keep up with progressives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, I mean,
I think I agree with you.
I would
That's one of
say
the-
even Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi have changed some of their policies to be more progressive.
That's one of the things that I wanted to talk about in the milk, actually, was that there's going to be a lot more arguing happening on this show now that there is a Democratic president, a Democratic Senate, and a Democratic House of Representatives, because the two individuals that you are looking at right now do not agree on very much.
Radicals in. Where are my radicals?
We agree on a lot, but we have a lot of disagreements, and it should get more fun, I think, in the
It'll-
watching of the show and the recording of this show.
It'll be different than just, we can both just,
'Cause
slam
we've been-
dunk on Trump
yeah,
together.
We've been slam dunking Trump for the entire run of the PB&J podcast, and now we have to deal with Democrats.
The PB&J podcast will, from here forth, be a dangerous zone. The producer will be strapped.
At all times.
Well, I remember we had a long
Two
conversation.
M9s, one
They're-
for
they're-
each of them.
We're gonna have taser guns dangling directly above us. So if anything
I
gets
just-
too heated,
no,
you just press a button
Yeah,
back there.
but it's really jerry-rigged, so it's like two fishing poles that are just lined up on my table, and I wait for it, and then I just hit the drop button.
Oh my
and they
god.
they just fall. I don't even control them. They just fall onto you.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna. What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
That's how I started.
Oh no, I remember what we haven't said. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
Merry
Totally missed
Christmas,
the
you
Christmas.
filthy animal.
I got an iPhone 12.
What about Bryan Cranston?
Oh yeah, so we were gonna talk about the milk.
I had something political to say, but I forgot what it was. I think it may be okay.
I think it could be okay.
If it comes up, make sure to interrupt the milk for it.
Well, I'm leading the milk because I'm the only one who's watched the show. So I'm gonna introduce y'all. Hopefully y'all watch. Maybe we can make it, because this show might be really good. It is Bryan Cranston. He is the starring role again in a Showtime show. He has a brand new show that's came out this winter.
What's it called?
It's called Your Honor. Your Honor. So basically, Bryan Cranston is a judge in New Orleans, And I don't know exactly where the story is going to go because, I've only seen the first episode, but basically he's a judge and his son gets into some trouble with the law, some very serious trouble with the law, and with someone who is a, spoiler alert, crime boss. His son gets in trouble with some very bad people, and basically it's a story of him trying to protect his son from the courts as,
While
like a
being
white...
an official in the court?
Yes, while being a very established, certified judge, like well-known in the community, while also protecting him from his consequences of whatever happened in the first episode. So
Okay.
it's very dark and very serious. I mean, I don't know. I've only seen the first episode. It could get funny in some areas, but Bryan Cranston, his acting is just like so captivating. Like he's emotional and he's not over the top.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we're all Breaking Bad fans in here.
For sure.
There's lots of high octane, lots of screaming, lots of anxiety. This show seems like it's going to be a lot more down to earth, a lot more human, a lot more emotional, a lot harder to act. So I'm really interested to see where Bryan Cranston is going to take something that's going to be difficult for him to do. Because I know he's good. Like I love him.
A man opens his door and gets shot, and you think that of me?
No, Skylar.
I'm the one who knocks.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a lot of that kind of, but yes, give me more Bryan Cranston. All of it.
Come on, Malcolm. You ever skated like this?
Wait, didn't?
That's not the line at all, but that's my favorite episode.
No, I think my favorite episode of Malcolm in the Middle. We're going down Bryan Cranston lifeline
That's
here
all
now.
that's written
Bryan
on the
Cranston
paper.
Avenue, am I right?
Yeah, Bryan Cranston Avenue. My favorite episode of Malcolm in the Middle is when Bryan Cranston's character tries to become a professional speed walker.
That is also the most captivating episode as
That's
well.
gotta be one of the best episodes of any sitcom ever. And then they discover that the other guy is like actually a cheater, and it's like a whole thing.
He's actually sprinting.
Yeah, he's actually running.
jogging.
Yeah, he's actually running. He's not
crossing
speed
the,
walking.
the threshold.
Both of his feet. So the difference between speed walking and jogging, and I know this from this show. The difference between speed walking and jogging is that when you jog, at some points, both of your feet are off the ground.
Yeah.
When you're speed walking, one foot is always on the ground.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that until I watched this show.
Come on, physics.
And then they recorded the other gentleman, right? And they get in you remember the fucking jumpsuits and the hat, the aerodynamic helmets?
I haven't really seen that
Oh
show.
my God.
Haven't really seen that
It's
show.
a classic that was filmed at some high school somewhere,
So
just in the
iconic.
middle of the day during a school day, and they're like, "What are they doing over there?"
Iconic. Literally so iconic, dude. Bryan Cranston, I'm glad he's doing
That's
the new
range,
show.
though.
He's got the ultimate range.
He was in a play recently, wasn't he?
I was gonna say, wasn't he played like LBJ recently?
Well, yeah, that was All the Way.
I haven't seen that.
That was really good, LBJ. But he also played like a newscaster or something in a play recently. It got super good reviews.
But I mean, that's 3 classics. Well, not 3. Maybe this show will be classic. I think the first episode is good enough to already put it in the category of some other shows.
I mean,
but
technically, he was in the Breaking Bad movie, so.
no, he wasn't.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was.
He didn't show an appearance, did he?
Yes, he did.
No, he does, but
It was a
it's
full
like
scene.
it's a flashback.
Okay.
It's
Here's
like
a
flashback.
conversation. I hated that movie.
No, dude.
That movie was boring. But
Don't yell
We've
so
immediately lost 20 viewers.
Yeah.
yelling.
You didn't like Jesse's road to becoming a completely independent man who makes his own plans?
Yeah, you obviously don't enjoy secondary
That's
characters.
literally the plot, though. Jesse becomes his own man and determines things for himself. It's a fine movie. I'm overreacting, but that's really the plot. Jesse determines things for himself for once.
It was just cutting up loose ends. You know how it was.
No,
Just
I mean,
tying 'em
it
up.
hit me in the feels,
Yeah, it made
but also
me
I
wanna
wanted
cry.
something else. But it wasn't. You can't always get what you want.
Network. That's what it was called.
You
Go
can't always
chasing
get Bernie
wild.
Sanders.
I found it. The play that he was in, he won a Tony for it, was called Network, and in which he played a news anchor. It was very good, and I saw some clips of it, and I was very impressed with him. He's a phenomenal actor, and I can't wait for him to do.
No, seriously,
all the
watch
roles.
this show.
I will watch the show.
It's already like on episode 5. It's still coming out.
I think we should wrap it up. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to say about Bryan Cranston. I mean, I wonder how he feels about what happened in the Capitol. I wonder how he feels about what's going on in China. And I feel like Bryan Cranston is one of those voices who really is in tune with the Chinese. So
with that,
this is me wrapping it up.
we will wrap up the PB&J podcast. This is your season 2 premiere. We enjoyed giving it to you. We have a few thank yous, of course. First to our producer Jack Tunney, always the man behind the camera, giving some good commentary. He's a handsome man.
Clicking the buttons.
He's a gentleman and a scholar.
We also want to give it.
Thank you.
Get on with it.
Get on.
We also want to give a big thank you to Jack Tarman. Welcome back.
I was going to not thank him purposely.
Yeah, well, that's
love you
why
guys.
I
Thank you.
stepped
Thank you
in.
for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We are glad to have you, and we love you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
I'd also like to thank our editor, David Whitehead. He's a good boy. I'd like to thank you, Brandon, for some things, not everything, though.
Yeah, I was a little late. It's all right.
And you the viewer.
No one's watching anymore.
Comment in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe. Ring the bell. What else is there to do?
Don't ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
You don't ring the bell.
In the barrel.
We don't have any bell ringers.
You could have just brought down this whole system. You could have done better than yesterday.
Could have brought down the whole system.
We're forgetting the bro fist. Oh, wait. What is this again?
Who are we?
That's
That's right. We're the PB&J podcast. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
That was pretty good.